Everyone in town believed Marcus Caldwell was the perfect son, rich, charming, and heir to one of the most powerful families in the city. He would push his mother's wheelchair through parks, smile for cameras, and speak sweetly to her in public. But what no one knew was that behind that charm was a heart so cold it could freeze even his own blood. One sunny afternoon, Marcus wheeled his mother, Eleanor Caldwell, to the top of a scenic cliff that overlooked their sprawling estate. It was a spot she loved. But that day, the view wasn't the only thing on Marcus's mind. And what he didn't know was that someone was following them. Someone who had seen the unthinkable and wouldn't stay silent. Eleanor Caldwell built her empire from nothing. A widowed single mother, she raised Marcus alone after her husband died in a car crash when Marcus was just 5. Through pain and persistence, Eleanor turned a small floral business into Caldwell Holdings, a billion-dollar conglomerate. But as the company grew, so did Marcus's entitlement. By the time he turned 30, Marcus had grown tired of waiting. Eleanor, though bound to a wheelchair after a stroke, was sharp as ever and refused to hand over her company. "You must learn humility before you lead," she told him often. To outsiders, Marcus seemed like a doting son. He threw galas in her name, gave speeches about her strength, and even kissed her forehead during interviews. But inside the mansion, where no cameras could see, Marcus was cold, dismissive, controlling, the only person who truly cared for Eleanor, other than her nurse, was Clarice, the maid. Clara had worked in the Caldwell estate for years. A quiet black woman from Georgia, she kept her head down, did her work, but always had a gentle smile for Eleanor. They had bonded over their shared love of poetry, and Eleanor trusted her deeply. And Clara, she saw everything. Every time Marcus raised his voice, every time he took his mother's silence as weakness. And one morning, Clara saw something she was never supposed to see. It was a Tuesday afternoon. The sun was bright, the sky endless. Marcus came into Eleanor's room with his usual fake grin. "Let's go for a walk, Mother," he said, wheeling her out before Clara could bring her tea. Clara's instincts kicked in. Something felt off. She followed discreetly, past the garden, through the marble pathway, and up toward the cliff Eleanor always loved. Clara crouched behind the trees, heart pounding as she watched them. Marcus parked the wheelchair right at the edge. "You know, Mother," Marcus said, voice smooth as silk, "I've been thinking about your legacy, about how things could move forward quicker without you slowing them down." Eleanor frowned. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," he hissed, suddenly cold, "you're a liability now, and I'm tired of waiting." And with that, he grabbed the wheelchair handles and tilted it forward. Clara gasped, but before Eleanor could fall, Clara sprang forward like lightning. She grabbed the arm of the wheelchair and planted her heels into the soil, screaming, "No!" Marcus froze in shock. Clara's grip trembled as she wrestled the wheelchair back. Eleanor clutched Clara's arm, eyes wide in terror. For a moment, the world was silent. Then Clara turned slowly toward Marcus, whose face had gone pale. "You were going to kill her," she whispered. Marcus opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Back at the estate, chaos erupted. Clara refused to stay silent. She reported everything down to the words Marcus had used to the police. At first, no one believed her. How could the golden son of the Caldwell dynasty try to kill his mother? But then Eleanor spoke. In a trembling voice, she confirmed every word and more. She spoke of the months of emotional abuse, the isolation, the manipulation. "I trusted my son," she said, "but he's been waiting for me to die." The media exploded. Headlines flashed across the country. Billionaire's son tried to kill mother for company. Maid saves matriarch from cliffside murder. Marcus tried to deny everything. He hired top lawyers, claimed it was an accident, said Clara was lying to get money. But Clara wasn't just a maid. She had recorded everything on her phone. Her hands may have saved Eleanor's life, but her camera sealed Marcus's fate. The trial was short. Marcus was disinherited, arrested, and sentenced to prison for attempted murder. And Eleanor, she stood with Clara beside her and signed the papers that rewrote her will. The company would go to charity, the mansion would be sold, and Clara would never have to work another day. A year later, the estate was quiet. Eleanor sat once again near the cliffside, but this time there was no fear. Clara sat beside her, now her full-time companion and trusted friend. "You saved me," Eleanor said, "but more than that, you reminded me that real family is not blood, it's heart." Clara smiled gently. "You saved yourself, Miss Eleanor. I just held on long enough for you to fight." The sun set over the valley, casting a golden glow over the land once shadowed by secrets. And as they sat together, two women from different worlds, bound by courage and truth, the wind whispered something new, not the sound of silence or betrayal, but of peace.